Hi, you guys. It's Yaz. And today I want to talk about something that nobody ever thinks about when we deal with narcissists, all right? Understand this, that narcissists themselves are victims. And people say, what do you mean they're victims? I'm going to explain that to you. Narcissists are actually victims of narcissistic abuse most of the time, okay? Why is this? Because of childhood neglect, childhood abuse, and childhood abandonment. Usually that's the reasons why people become narcissistic, is because they didn't have that validation, they didn't, know how to regulate their emotions, so they become narcissistic in order to survive, okay? Now that doesn't mean that when you have two children that, for instance, had narcissistic parents, that they're both going to turn out narcissistic. But the weaker of the children, all right, is going to become the narcissist because they take the path of darkness. They're very fragile. Narcissists are very fragile. This is what you have to understand. You're not dealing with a strong, self-confident type of person. You're dealing with a very weak individual. You're dealing with a coward. You're dealing with somebody who doesn't trust the world, somebody who doesn't trust you. And so as a survival tactic, narcissists watch out for themselves, okay? They feel it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, that they're doing what everybody else is doing and they're going to get theirs, okay? One of the biggest fears of a narcissist is somebody getting over on them, all right? It's not just abandonment, it's not just exposure, but they hate to feel that somebody ever got over on them. Why? Because in a sense, a narcissist feels they were cheated. They were cheated from their childhood. They didn't get the childhood that they deserved. So now they're out in the world and they're looking to get everything that they feel they deserve. That could be money, that could be admiration, that could be plenty of sex. In other words, they're going to satisfy themselves because they feel they've been cheated, okay? So a lot of times when you look at the narcissist that you're dealing with, I want you to look deep. Look deeper into that person and look at their background, look at their family life, where they came from, how they were treated. Did they have narcissistic parents or a narcissistic family that, basically created narcissistic abuse and inflicted it on them? And this is why they act the way they act. Now, on the other side of the coin is this. A lot of people go through trauma in their childhoods, and that is not an excuse to hurt other people. You are accountable for your actions. See, but a narcissist doesn't want to be accountable for anything. Their defense is always an offense. And what does that mean? That means that they blame shift and put everything. You're the reason that things don't work out. You're the reason, something went wrong. This is deflect all that shame off themselves and put it on you. Again, it's a defense mechanism to protect themselves. They don't take accountability because they are basic cowards, all right? Basic cowards that can't handle shame. And people don't understand this. And I try to explain it to them. You have to understand, you're dealing with a very fragile ego there. Somebody who can't handle when they're wrong. See, this is one of the things a narcissist can never do. They can never, ever say that they were wrong. The only time a narcissist will say they're wrong is if they're trying to fool you for something. Maybe it's the beginning stages of the relationship and they do that pretend accountability. Oh, I'm sorry, that'll never happen again. Why? Because they still need you. You have a supply. You have something that they want. So what do they show you? They show you that fake humility, like, oh yeah, that was my fault and everything. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. The only reason a narcissist is doing that is to fool you into thinking that they have heart, that they could take accountability. But once they have you and once they get that supply, you're going to see a totally different person who will not take accountability whatsoever. It's always going to be your fault. So, understand this. Now, I have people that get on the posts when we talk about spiritual issues and demonic spirits and how the narcissist is overtaken by demonic spirits, which they are in a sense because they're liars. So people that are liars, their father is Satan, the father of all lies. So the narcissist takes the road of darkness. They don't take the path of light, the truth. They don't follow that because they don't trust the path of truth. A lot of times, narcissists are not spiritual people. They don't want to think about the afterlife or think about that there is a God. Why? Because that means that they might have to be accountable on Judgment Day, and they don't want to have to do that. So instead, they themselves think that they have complete control over themselves, that they don't answer to anybody, not even to God. And what they also like to do is break down your faith. They like to break down your faith. You know why they do that, you guys? Because they don't want you to have strength by, having faith, all right? So if they break your spirit, break your faith, they're breaking your strength, okay? Because people, they have faith to give them strength to get through the hard times in life. And a narcissist wants to break that. So anything that's a support system for you, whether it's friends, family, or, your religious beliefs that give you strength, they are going to try to discredit that and alienate you and distance you from things that strengthen you. A narcissist wants you codependent on them. They want you weak. Why do they want you weak? So that they can manipulate you. But understand this. You have to look at it from a different light, you guys. See, I always say, when a narcissist is smearing you a lot, then you really hurt them, okay? And that's got to give you a little bit of satisfaction in knowing that if they're really bad-mouthing you or they're writing nasty comments about you or anything like that, guess what? You got them. You hurt them, all right? Because they're still smearing you because they're hurt, all right? They're hurt because you don't want them. You discarded them, or maybe they discarded you and they came back and you don't want them because now you see them for the toxic people they are. You had a preconceived notion that this person was a strong individual, that they were your hero, that they were the angel of light, that they were your soulmate. But the reality of it is they're everything the opposite of that, okay? A narcissist is weak when when you challenge a narcissist, okay? And they're against somebody extremely strong, somebody who's unwavering, somebody who has their power. A narcissist is going to run, okay? They're cowards. They will run because they can't handle it. They know they can't take this person on. So they will run and they will smear you like a coward does behind your back because they can't take you on toe to toe. This is your covert narcissist, all right? Covert narcissists hate confrontation and hate, taking you on toe to toe. If you're somebody who will rip them to shreds, they're afraid of that. They're afraid of being exposed and their ego being shattered and what people would think of them and their image and all of that. But getting back to the topic at hand, because I'm going a little off topic here, is the fact that, understand, when you deal with a narcissist, you are dealing with somebody who also went through narcissistic abuse most times, okay? So if you really want to know who this person is, I always say you've got to know your target, know who you're dealing with. And how do you do that? I'll tell you how you do that. By, again, looking at where they came from. Take a good look at their relationship to their mother. Take a good look at their relationship to their father. Were they abandoned? Were they abused? Did they have childhood neglect? Okay? They may have had one parent that was caring and everything, but maybe the other parent wasn't there for them, and that's why they became narcissistic, because they felt abandoned, they felt cheated, and now what are they going to do? They're going to try and go out there in that world and get what they feel is due to them, okay? Nobody's going to get one over or cheat that narcissist now. So now you understand the mindset of that narcissist, all right? They come most of the time from damaged backgrounds, or The other times you can get a narcissistic child is when you have a very entitled child, the golden child that gets everything they want, but they don't have any boundaries. And a lot of times when children, are the entitled child, it's usually because the parents may not be able to be there for them. So instead, they spoil the children because of the parents' guilt for not really being there for the child. So this is why I say a lot of parents, they show love. Toxic parents show love. Narcissistic parents will show love with money, okay? They're not there for the kid when the kid's down, when the kid's sick, when the kid of them. But hey, they sent them money for their birthday. So now they feel like they're parent of the year. But the child still feels that loss of a parent. A child needs to feel that safety and security. And a lot of times when you're dealing with a narcissistic person who could be your partner, they may have come from a childhood where they didn't have that safety and security, okay? So now in order to alleviate their anxiety, because narcissists are anxious people. They're depressed people. They're anxious people. They're filled with anxiety. So in order to alleviate that, they've got to put all that anxiety and that depression onto somebody else, okay? It's like hurt people hurt other people. That's the narcissist, all right? In order to feel superior, in order to feel better about themselves. Miserable people are always the ones that want to put down other people because they're miserable. You don't see happy people putting down somebody. Why? Because they're happy. They're content within their lives. They don't have to put somebody else down. They have no need to do something like that. But a miserable person is the one that's going to smear you and put you down. And that's your narcissist because they're miserable from enduring what they've endured, from growing up and feeling like they never got what they deserved, okay? So whoever gets involved with this person is in for it. Because that narcissist is competitive with you. There's always a competition, especially with a covert narcissist. There's always a competition with them. They don't tell you that, but deep down, they are competing with you, okay? You see this in families, amongst siblings that compete for the narcissistic parent's attention. You see this also, like, even in relationships. When you're in a relationship with your partner, you're never an equal. There's always an imbalance in power where the narcissist has to have the control of everything. So getting back to my point, because the narcissist endured narcissistic abuse, they have this constant need for control. Why? Because they never had that control growing up. And so this is why they feel they have to control everything. And what does that do, you guys? It alleviates their anxiety, okay? So this is why narcissists, when they control things like where we're going to go, what we're going to do, what we're going to eat, how do we clean the house, how do we cook, how do we raise our children, when they take control, that alleviates their anxiety, okay? Because they put more trust within themselves than they put trust in you, okay? Now they have the control of everything. And this is all because they never had that control growing up. Growing up, they may have felt internally that their world was spiraling out of control. See, a lot of times people look okay on the outside, all right? And a narcissist always puts on a good front, like they're okay, they're strong, they're confident. But internally, there's a chaos inside them. There's an emptiness, there's a chaos inside them. And how do you know that? By their behaviors, how they behave, okay? Because somebody who's at peace doesn't have to control everything. But as somebody who's internally, has that unrest within themselves, they have to, control everything. This is why they love chaos. Narcissists love chaos because it gives them a dopamine rush and makes them feel better. They don't fall into that depression, okay? Because narcissists don't like peace. Peace brings them depression. It causes them to self-reflect, and they don't want to have to self-reflect because they're already internally feeling that shame, and they don't want to feel those low points. That's why the narcissist is, they're always on the go. A narcissist most times is always on the go, always looking for the next great time. They always need that dopamine rush, okay? They thrive on excitement. And why is that? Because they don't want to feel depression and all of these things that they felt during their childhood. A lot of them suffered from anxiety and depression, and nobody saw it. And all these things come out later on for their need for control. But narcissists, most definitely, you guys, most times are, products of poor parenting, okay? Plus, there's an internal genetic factor depending on the child's predisposition. What is their innate nature? What is their innate personality? Like some children are more difficult, all right? You see this in babies. Some babies are more colicky, some babies are more difficult, and some babies are more placid, okay? That's their innate nature, all right? I saw this in my own children. Some, like my son, he was difficult, and my daughter was very placid, and this was all I saw it even as they were small, as a baby, how they were, okay? So, that along with the childhood development molds somebody into who they are, okay? Now, what happens to people that get involved with narcissists? Sometimes when you get involved with a narcissist, and I've actually seen this in people's relationships, they get out of a relationship with a very narcissistic person, and they themselves catch narcissistic fleas from being with a narcissist so long that the next relationship they get into, they become the narcissist, and they feel the need to have to control everything. They may have had a few narcissistic characteristics, okay? But after being with a full-blown narcissist, it actually rubs off on you if you're that, that kind of weak individual, and, you take that path of darkness where you want to do manipulation on people and lying to people because this is all you see, this is all you know. See, narcissists mirror what they've learned. So if their parents were the type that were always the silent treatment as emotional punishment, 9 times out of 10, when they have a child that becomes narcissistic, they're going to use the same tactic, the silent treatment, okay? Because of the narcissistic abuse that they endured during their childhood, now they get in a relationship with you and they feel this is the way you fight, okay? I'm going to torture you with silence. This is your covert narcissist, all right? They don't communicate directly. They communicate, they try to control you with silence so that you never open up your mouth, okay? So I just wanted you guys to look deeper and to understand where all of this is coming from, okay? Where is all of this coming from? All of this narcissistic traits that we see in people. And the other factor to keep in mind is not just about poor parenting and maybe having narcissistic parents or a toxic family that turns out a narcissist, but also society in general. We live in a society that is based on material things, competition, who's got the best car, who has the best house, who has the best looking wife, trophy wife, who has the best looking husband, all right? Everything is superficial, materialistic, and this is what society puts value on. They don't put value on kindness. They don't put value on understanding and patience and things that are of God. We are not a society that is, based on God, okay? A lot of the principles of God, people don't even look at anymore. And they look at you crazy if you even bring up anything about religion or God, that because they've been so molded by what they see on TV, on social media, what's pretty, what's fancy, what's the image. Everything is image, everything is competition. So now you have a narcissist that grew up maybe in a trauma-based home, abuse, neglect, abandonment, and, they're a weaker type of individual that can't handle shame, that takes the path of manipulation and lies, and they feel this is their survival tactic in order to get by in the world. And the value in this world is what is materialistic to them, okay? It's not of what is of the spiritual world, okay? And actually, that is something that God disdains. When people put things of, that's, idolization. When you idolize material things and things of this world, instead of idolizing God and the spirit, rather, should come above anything materialistic, because all of these materialistic things will be gone one day, all right? They're going to be gone one day. So your value, if you're a spiritual person, should be on your faith, whatever your faith is, okay? But that faith is what's going to keep you grounded and give you your strength. And this is exactly what a narcissist wants to break down, all right? Why? Because you're dealing with a damaged person who is a victim themselves, most times, of narcissistic abuse. So the narcissist is actually a victim, pretty much most of the time, of narcissistic abuse. And this is what people don't realize, okay? You're dealing with a victim themselves, but this victim has chosen to take the path of wickedness, not the path of truth and righteousness, and to do the right thing and not hurt other people, okay? So they have grown a thick skin, a black heart, and they have no empathy for anybody else because they had a lack of empathy for how they were treated growing up. Okay, and that's it in a nutshell. And I hope that helps you guys understand. But again, remember, just because you come out of a trauma-based home does not give you the right to treat people in an underhanded, wicked way by using lies, manipulation, emotional abuse, the silent treatment, reactive abuse, gaslighting. It does not give you a right to do this to an innocent person who is looking for clarity, okay? And that is a choice that a narcissist makes. It's not that they can't help themselves. It is a choice that they make, because a narcissist is well aware of what reality is. Trust and believe me when I tell you that that is a fact, okay? And how do I know that? Because in order to be a manipulator, you would have to know what the truth is. And also keep in mind, narcissists know who they can manipulate and who they can't. And in order to be able to do that, you would have to know what the truth is and what reality is. So don't let them fool you, you guys. Don't let them fool you, all right? Because deep down, the narcissist knows what the truth is. It's just that they suppress it because it doesn't work in their favor in order to manipulate and fool you. But they know what they're doing, and they're actually smirking behind your back because you actually are sitting there thinking that they don't know what they're doing, okay? That's the truth, and I've actually seen them do that, okay? So I hope this helps you understand that you're dealing with a damaged person who underwent narcissistic abuse, most likely, and, this is who they are. Accept who they are and disengage and decide whether you're going to deal with that toxic person, because they're not going to change, or whether you're going to say, no, I'm not going to deal with a toxic person because this is going to break me down as a person, break down, my mental state, which will affect my physical state. And you know what? You only get one life. You only get one life. So put yourself around people that lift you up and don't tear you down, okay? Period, dot, end of story. I'm done, okay, you guys? I hope that helps you understand. Have a great day. If you're looking for one-on-one personal phone coaching, check out the link in the bio at askgaz.wixsite.com. If you want a whole lot of other information, check out my YouTube, where I have almost 5,000 videos on everything on there. Covert narcissists, manipulation, triangulation, discard, all of these different things, the mind games they play. Check out my YouTube at the Game Exposed podcast. For more posts and reels, check out my Facebook and Instagram at the Game EXP123, and TikTok is the Game Exposed. And have a great day, you guys.